Today we take on Donn's Demon from the Tropical Standard book. It's their take on the zombie and one of the most advanced zombie recipes you're going to come across. It's a little bit different from many of the other zombie riffs out there. While most look to the original 1934 zombie as the gold standard reference, Donn the Beachcomber did change his recipe over the years, not to mention that he didn't even like the zombie. Those are his words, not mine, so don't come at me with your emotional invalidation. The version that we're making today is Tropical Standard's take on the lesser-known 1956 zombie, which comes to us from Donn the Beachcomber in Hawaii. The 1934 zombie, or the original zombie, has this very strong hold on everyone's devotion. Many worship at the altar of the 1934 zombie. The original must be the best. The original is the most authentic, and if you find the original to be the best, that's totally fine, but the collective groupthink here in the cocktail world is that original always equals best, and that can be pretty annoying. And you know what else is annoying? Rough next days. It's the cozy season, and I'm just cozy right now, and I enjoy spending some time on the couch watching my favorite YouTube videos, but that's my choice. I don't want to be wasting an entire day stuck on that couch because of a few drinks the night before. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol is the answer we've all been looking for. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-Alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. From Thanksgiving feast to New Year's Eve celebrations, this holiday season is packed with events. But don't let the festivities leave you feeling less than merry. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic can help you savor the night and seize the next day. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/makeanddrink. You can also scan the QR code that's on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use the code MAKEANDDRINK at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. ZBiotics is also backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/makeanddrink and use the code MAKEANDDRINK at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Donn the Beachcomber creates a zombie in 1934, and it becomes this huge success, but not really. People everywhere were copying him, but no one knew the exact recipe, so the idea of it was more successful than the sum of all the ingredients in Donn's original zombie. The recreations were riffs on Donn's zombie, or what people thought was Donn's zombie, because many of those recreations came from people that never actually had that original one, because the recipe wasn't out there floating around. And it didn't make its way into print until the 1950s, and that was in an obscure source with not much attention drawn to it. It was a barbecue book. The recipe was really a secret until 2007 when Jeff Berry unlocked the code and shared that in Sippin' Safari. All right, so let's put that into context here. That's 73 years of people not knowing the recipe. Almost everyone who had consumed a zombie over those 73 years, a vast majority of them, were not drinking that original recipe. The drink was served everywhere, and no one had the recipe. Most people were probably not drinking anything close to it, but they were drinking a drink that had lots of rum. And if you went to the Donn the Beachcomber establishments in the mid-century, the drink you would have been served may have been much different than the original zombie. It's similar to the Mai Tai. The original is important because without it, it doesn't exist. But the versions that made those drinks popular were often departures from the original. And today's zombie is essentially a riff on version 3. And as we know, first the worst, second the best, third the one with the treasure chest. The Tropical Standard book is chock full of advanced techniques, and some of you might find today's to be overly advanced for you, but I assure you it is on the easier side of things in the Tropical Standard book spectrum. You'll need a grapefruit punch syrup, which is really just an oleosaccharum and fresh juice syrup. It's basically an old school shrub or sherbet recipe. I recently shared a video making clarified juices, cordials, and these punch syrups. There's a link right here. There'll be one in this episode's description as well if you want to check that out on how to make a grapefruit punch syrup. And then we need some fassionola. And this red fassionola is actually as easy as it gets. It's equal parts of a maraschino cherry syrup, that's the leftovers, and then a fresh grenadine. You can make this beforehand, and the recipe also calls to express a lemon peel into the syrup. I prefer fresh grenadine. If you want to know how to make that, a link will be here and this episode's description as well. So let's go ahead and make Donn's Demon from the Tropical Standard book. Into a drink mixer tin, but you can always shake this, I'm going to start with 5 drops of a saline solution, 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, and the first bump doesn't count. 1 ounce of pineapple juice that's been acid adjusted to lime juice, and here's how you do that. I'm going to measure out 100 milliliters of fresh pineapple juice, and I'm going to add 3.2 grams of citric acid and 2 grams of malic acid, and now you have pineapple juice that has the acidity of a lime. Half a teaspoon of red fassionola, half a teaspoon of absinthe, 1/4 ounce of falernum, and I'm using the Tropical Standard falernum, 3/4 ounces of our grapefruit punch syrup, 1/4 ounce of Luxardo Maraschino Liqueur, half an ounce of Coruba rum, half an ounce of Dr. Bird rum, 1 ounce of Chairman's Reserve rum, and 1 ounce of Hamilton 151. I will garnish with a slice of pineapple, some pineapple leaves, and an orchid if you got it, or whatever non-poisonous flowers you have lying around. So there you go, Donn's Demon from the Tropical Standard book. All right, let's try it. Cheers. The first thing I get is the Dr. Bird rum. There's a small amount of it there, but just like an upfront hit of the Jamaican rum, you get some of the 151 as well, but it's not, it doesn't taste too boozy for how much is in there. I'm talking a full ounce of 151, a full ounce of the Chairman's, and then another ounce combining the Coruba, the Dr. Bird. And it doesn't feel too strong. So that the first thing you get is the rum up front, and then there's this bitter, like a pleasant bitterness that comes through. And as I'm making these, sometimes you're trying to remember what you put in there. And the grapefruit punch syrup, that's what's providing like a nice solid punch of bitterness that doesn't linger. And let me backtrack before you get to that like sharp finish from the acidity from the grapefruit punch and then the pineapple. You get the combination of the maraschino liqueur as well as the absinthe like working together. Those are without a doubt like the two most powerful ingredients I have on my bar, and they can easily overtake like any cocktail. But teaspoons, half teaspoons here, 1/4 ounces to provide like the uniqueness that the St. George absinthe has, the sort of floral, pungent nuttiness that the maraschino has. Those things come through at like different points as you're trying it, and it's not it's not taking over the entirety of the drink. As cheesy as it sounds, like it's like the cocktail is almost, it's like an experience. It's something you want to be prepared for. It's something that is worth all of the effort to go through. And now that I'm tasting it more, I'm getting some of those like red fruit notes from the fassionola. There's so much depth and layers to it that as you drink it, as you're going down your zombie glass, you're experiencing more of it. My buddy Arminder at the Rum Revival did a video recently where he drank through a whole bunch of modern zombies. This was one of them. I'm pretty sure this was one of his favorites. It probably was his favorite, let's be honest. So if you want to see this zombie stack up against other modern zombies, I'll leave a link to that video in this episode's description. I'll put it up here as well. It's interesting to see there's so many modern takes on it. This is another one added to the list of modern zombies. And if you make this, you will have one of the best zombies that you have ever had. So that's it for this one. It's Donn's Demon from the Tropical Standard book. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like below. If you want to support this channel more, go check out my Patreon page for behind the scenes stuff and extra videos. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.
Sing, Hawaii, sing.